Hello lovely people, welcome to our February pattern, and in the theme of keeping it seasonal I've got a lovely little heart-shaped coaster for you. Now I don't lay claim to this pattern, it's been out there on the internet, loads of shapes and forms, loads of different people using. It's a standard technique thing that everybody uses. But I've written it out in our little style and I've given you loads of suggestions for the way you can change it, and it's super quick and easy for you. So let's make some pretty hearts, shall we? This is so quick, so easy, so simple. We should be able to do the whole thing together. Shouldn't take long. Let's try something a little bit silly, a little bit fun. Once you start with these, start experimenting with your different yarn thicknesses on your different needles, and then start doing different stitches. This is all plain knit. We're going to cast on 5, but there's nothing stopping you doing a row of knit, a row of purl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to knit that. And there's nothing stopping you doing moss stitch, which is a knit purl. Yeah, a knit purl rib, 1 knit, 1 purl. But then on the way back, you put the knit stitch on top of the purl stitch so that you get this little bumpy checkerboard effect. Row 2, knit into the front and then into the back of the first stitch, knit to end. Front, back, knit to end. I'm conscious I might be going a bit fast for you, so. And then the third row is to just knit. Doesn't matter the thickness of your yarn, keep it through a finger like that. Don't pull on it, don't hang on to it, just relax. We're just going to knit on the way back. We're going to knit into the front and the back. Front. Always make the effort to do that swoop. Do your knit, swoop it around. It gives you your space to get in there and it evens it out. If you do that and then you just come round here, you're getting tight and bunged up in here and you're losing your tension, you're losing the space. All tension is the space for the stitch to sit comfortably. So when you go into the back, sweep it round. You can always use that to pull it so it doesn't floppy loosey. You just want the stitch to sit around the needle so that it's got space to move when you want to get your needle in for the next row. That's where I'm going with that, sorry. Now then, we need 8 rows. Have we got 8 stitches? No, we're going to do it again. We're going to knit on the way back. So we need 8 stitches. So let's have a look. Oh, I love working with super chunky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Shove that out of the way. Pop that out of the way. Cast on. Straight in front of it. 1, 2, 3. Needle right the way through so that you get a nice straight line along the top. If you just pick up one side of the stitches, it will be gappy and floppy. We don't want flappy goppy hearts, gappy hearts, do we? No, we don't. I love working with super chunky. Takes a bit getting used to, really does. That's your knit row. Front, make the swoop. Back, give those little stitches space to breathe. If you don't do the swoop, it can squish all the stitches up tightly. It ruins your tension. All tension is space for the stitches to move in. I'll show you on the way back the difference. So we've done. Now we've got to increase. See how easy that was, how all those stitches were the same size. If you go make that and you go straight in to go in like that, that's hard. These stitches haven't got room to move. You've got a hard lump there. When you come back the other way to knit into them, you'll be struggling to hold the tension. Just hold it there, knit, make the swoop. You've got this so that it doesn't go all saggy and baggy, so that's fine. We've increased that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Straight knit to back. So we're going to increase to get the 8, front, back, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. So you can do it in different thickness yarns on your different needles. You can experiment with your stitches, you can experiment with colours, stripes, all sorts of things. Right, on your way back, you've created these two. Push them up together again. And we're going to work straight across them both. You can do an interesting corner of a cushion with all the different sizes and shaped sizes and patterns and colours and hearts. This is such a versatile, useful little thing. Make sure you keep that tight. If you've broken this yarn to use it again to start on, watch it, because you'll have a loose tail here. You put that in there and you flick it through, and before you know it, you've lost your stitch and you have to fish it back again. So, join them together. That's as simple as that. And now you've got the top of your heart. We're going to knit. I tell you what, if I had more of this pink, I'd experiment with stripes, but I've only got a tiny little bit of this pink, so I'm not going to. We've joined them together. We've got to work 4 rows. Knitting and chatting, you can guarantee I lose track. Keep it tight across the join. Tight as if in give it an extra little pull, because it'll soon relax and settle in. That's 1 row. You'd be amazed the difference of the size you can get working this. This is super chunky on 9mm. If you worked it in dole knitting on 4mm, you'll get those little pocket hugs that everybody's raving about at the moment. You know, little pocket hugs? You didn't make 2 pieces and sew them together and put a little bit of stuffing in it, and that's your little pocket hug. That's all it is, same thing. So that's 2 rows. And this is the 3rd row. Yeah, it's amazing. It's really useful knowing about that sort of thing. Check out the first of my beginner's course of January is all about plies, yarns and plies, yarn weight. Brilliant system. Once you've cracked the code, it frees you up. A little bit of knowledge goes, it really is empowering. That was 3. So this is the 4. If you want to make an even bigger shape, you know, increase 10 to 10 stitches and make a longer depth. Instead of working 4 rows, work 6 rows. You mess about with it, it's only plain knitting. What's all the fun is just the fun of it. So that's my 4 rows, isn't it? You counted them, didn't you? So I know it's right. Was it 4 rows? That's the join. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're going to decrease for our little point. We're going to decrease each end and then do a plain row to spread it out. So we're going to crease at that end. Something lovely, comforting and rustic and charming about Super Chunky. Smacks of crofters' cottages and coziness. I don't know, that's I'm being silly, but I love it. And then 2 together at that end, and it is just straight. Needle through both stitches, hold on to it, pull them off together, and then we're going to go. If you want a longer point, it's quite fun, the exaggerated long hearts. Work 2 rows between a decrease and you'll get that. It's a bit of a more modern vibe than the traditional round cherub's heart. I don't know if they've got names or anything. Straight row. You see the results so quickly with Super Chunky. It's very impactful. Straight the way along to... I mean, I must admit I am rattling along here. Down to the last 2. Put 2 together. I probably actually wouldn't rattle along nearly quite as fast as this if I was just sitting doing it for myself. I mean, I am a fast knitter, but I don't always charge along like a lunatic. I think it's possibly just because I'm thinking, oh, we can do this together. And I don't want to keep you hanging about for 40 minutes. So that's your plain row, and then we're going to go down to 2 together again. If I get my rows mixed up, it's because I'm chatting and I'm not concentrating. Normally, I have a notebook beside me, and I've never mastered working with it on the the phone or the digital stuff. I have a notebook beside me. And I set, or I write it on the pattern. Yeah, I must admit that's much more common for me to be working it out on the pattern. I make little marks. I'll do down for a plain row and I'll cross it through for a 2 together, or I'll do something so that I've got a visual reference to keep track of it. Very, very visual person I've become these days. I guess I always have been, being arty and crafty and doing all the arts, just that I didn't notice because I was doing it all the time. I only do a shop window. display every month. Your sort of your visual plate is satisfied. But now I have to look for places to satisfy my visual aids. So there we go, see, it didn't take long. Thump, just like that. Doesn't take long for Super Chunky to have an effect. I haven't added up how many rows this is. It can only be a couple of dozen, can't it? It can't be very many. 50, 25, 30, I don't know. 6, 10, I don't know. And then that was, is that 2 together? No, that was straight, wasn't it? That was straight, so now we're doing 2 together. You can tell, because you can see the big loops at the end, where the big loops sit. And as we're doing it on both sides, Super Chunky is very obvious. Not delicate and fancy about Super Chunk. You can see the big chunkiness. That was 2 together, so we're doing it straight. And use all your scraps for this. Put your 2 strands of double knitting together to get your chunky weight, if you want to get tonal hearts. Brilliant little stash buster. And as I say, make pocket hugs for the kids. Anybody that needs being sent a hug. No time at all. Maybe slightly quicker if you're doing it in double knitting, simply because it's not so much to manhandle. But either way, it's only going to take you 10 minutes to make one. Last 2 stitches together. Big loop. Feed that through. Seriously, how hard is that? Isn't that the cutest little coaster? Just coaster for your table, never mind anything else. That is so cute. Oh, I love that. Yeah, just like that. So off you go and make a couple of hundred. And have a lovely Valentine's Day.